Hello, we're back. All right, guys. Got a little bit of a disappointment here. The guest reached out to us, let us know that he had a family emergency and is not going to be able to make it tonight. And we've rescheduled that show for next Saturday, which is also my birthday.
What?
Next March 6th is my birthday. Be turning 28. It's going to be a good time. But sorry about that. We're sorry about the confusion. We're sorry about the mishap. We're sorry about the miscommunication. That's not on you. That's really not even on us. It's just on the way the world turns. It's not about what you do. It's, how you deal with it, how you overcome and adapt. So we are here. We do want to give you some content. So we'll probably go from, 9:30 to about 10:20, if that. And we'll just talk, Zack Snyder's panel today. We have a couple other things. There's a Pokemon festival that happened yesterday. So we'll get into a couple things. If you'd like to talk about anything, make sure you throw it in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if this is your first time. If you're returning, thank you very, very much. Consider becoming a member of our Patreon corner. You get access to early podcasts, early pre-recorded content, discounted merch, yearly gifts, all on us, of course, and so many other perks like private community, Discord server, you name it, it's there. But we're really excited to get that started. We're really excited for next week. We are joined, not introduced, by producer Jack. Jack, what's going on, buddy?
I cannot hear Jack.
Remember, gotta.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I actually, you mentioned my sniffles, so I did have to sniffle a little bit, so I muted myself. I was saying late says the white rabbit, but
yes,
moments passed.
So Jack, what happened? You a little bit better than I can.
So basically, we emailed him, and we were assuming that maybe he thought 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, we did do our due diligence to put that in the email that would be 3 p.m. your time. He sent an email about 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He said, "Hey, Jack, terribly sorry. I've had a family emergency arise, and I need to postpone to next weekend." It was a very brief message, so I'm going to go ahead and assume. I remember we said let's give him the benefit of the doubt because look, he works in social media. He's a bigwig. He's not the type of person that's late for meetings. You don't get to that, point in life being late. So I think something happened. And that turns out he did have a family emergency, but he did not say I can't do it. He asked if we can do it next weekend. So we're going to be doing it next weekend. We're still confirming the time. But we are scheduled to do this next weekend, and we apologize to everyone who joined us at 6 p.m. It was just something happened on his end. We thought it was miscommunication on our end. It wasn't. I didn't ask him specifics about what happened, but these things happen. So, I hope everything's cool with him. I hope whatever it is isn't too serious, but he will be with us next week. And look, this means we're made because this is how it happens with like these big leaks. You have delays, you have cancellations. So I kind of feel like we grew up today.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's it's definitely a growing experience. We were faced with our first so we did like the Snyder Cut expose at the beginning of November, or all of November, I should say, and that went so flawless. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, like how perfect it went was like not attributed to like it wasn't the usual, right?
Yeah.
Typically it doesn't go that smooth, but it went so smooth. It was our first like introduction to this YouTube, like anything like that. So that went so smooth. It was weird, right? And then this February month-long guest spot, week 2, we had a no-show, right? And then that was like, all right, maybe it's not so easy And then today happened. So
Yeah.
we are tremendously sorry, but that's not to say that we did shoot another podcast before this. We will get to that interview next week. It'll be in March, so it's a little bit closer to the Snyder Cut. So I guess we can look at the bright side of things rather than the bad,
That's
right?
fair.
So Cameron asked a good question. So do you guys feel like those questions fans submitted and Terry the fan questions that they submitted today at the panel for Zack Snyder, and Terry asked herself, the ones that she asked, do you think they were screened by HBO Max higher ups? They had to have been, right?
Absolutely.
They talked a lot about JL too.
Yeah.
I think it's no surprise that they asked the questions they did in the order that they did, in the way that they did.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you have overwhelming amounts of fan submissions, you're going to have a plethora of questions, right? Even whether they're doing it subliminally or not, they're picking the ones that they think will get the best responses, right?
Exactly.
So the ones that will get the best responses are the ones that toe the line.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that so?
Exactly.
With the layout, something similar to what we have right now? There's a comment section, right? And then they pick from the comments what the question would be.
No, they don't. Well, they do have a comment section because they did it on a YouTube video as well.
Okay.
But
how were the
this was a
questions
pre-recorded. They
pre-recorded.
they were like, oh, submit your questions to this email.
Okay, yeah. So that goes without saying. There was definitely somebody monitoring.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Twice Zack said almost the same thing. It hasn't happened yet. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. What I had planned for the second film, which doesn't look like it's going to happen, he said that twice. And I don't know if that was his way of maybe throwing us off or his way of saying that actually no discussions have been had. Because I think he looked like in full form. He looked really great today. I think he wants to do more. The fans want him to do more. But I think right now it'll come down to HBO versus Warner Brothers Pictures. Like, can we just keep doing more? He said he'd like to see Ben Affleck in the cowl again. So
yeah, and I know I would. Justice not so much, but that's okay, right? We're getting the best of both worlds with Pattinson and Ben. But it was no shock to me that the only thing that shocked me was that they let the question get asked.
Yeah.
If HBO Max offered you more money or offered you money, would you do Justice League 2? He even seemed shocked that the question came up. He was like, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Or I'll believe it when I see it. So clearly they haven't asked him to do it yet.
Yeah.
It's all hinging on the numbers from March 18th.
And so, and I'm pretty sure the major problem is that, and this is directly the fault of the mouse, right?
My boy's here. Farface Garza.
My man. So it seems that this is directly the fault of the mouse, right? That they're not going to put out movies that, especially of this comic book era that we're in right now, if it's not $1 billion movie, they're not putting it out, period. There's not enough money into it, right? That's the kind of expectation. And that's why I say it's the mouse's fault, because they put that kind of expectation. Now there's fans suffering because of it, because it doesn't. $1 billion for a movie is an absurd number, if you ask me. Right? Yeah. I don't know. I believe that's the problem. Like,
and what's funny is DC did it first with The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was the first comic book movie to make $1 billion, and DC is the most recent comic book movie to make $1 billion, and that would be Joker. Since then, we haven't had any Marvel content. We're still waiting on Black Widow, but.
What?
I thought it was Aquaman. Joker? Yeah.
Joker made $1 billion. It became the first R-rated movie to make $1 billion. No R-rated movie, not Passion of the Christ, not the two Deadpool movies have made $1 billion. So DC and both films are made by auteurs. They're made by directors who are like, stay out of my way. Whether it's Todd Phillips or whether it's Chris Nolan.
They're definitely not committee movies.
Yeah, exactly. And Justice League was a committee movie. That is a Marvel movie. And look, I don't know how Marvel, aside from the Russo brothers, I'm pretty sure that their movies are partially directors and partially committee. I think there is like a Marvel Studios like, look, this is what we want to happen. Because a lot of people forget what happened with Edgar Wright in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright is a very specific type of director. He wanted to do something very different. He wanted to do something with his style. They still kept his name as a screenwriter for Ant-Man, but they basically made their own Ant-Man movie. They did not want what Edgar Wright wanted to do. And in that sense, I think sometimes Marvel can still be kind of like a committee, like, no, this is the direction we're going. And maybe that's an asset. That's an asset. That's why they've been so successful moving forward.
Right, because it comes down to the formula, right?
Yeah.
It's not broken.
Yeah.
Right. And we've talked about this before, where Marvel makes their movies, their movies, by the time the director steps foot on set, the movie is laid out for them all the way through in previs, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2, 3 to 5 shots. It's all prevised out. All the director really has to do is take the previs and convert it into live action shots, right?
Yeah.
And then they layer in the graphics. They layer in all the
they might
post.
be able to like put some of their visual style onto it, but as far as outside of that, they really don't have too much say into it, because it is
Right.
at this point, Marvel movies aren't movies; they're events.
They're
right?
machine made.
Yeah, this is
They're machine made.
Yeah, this is a rotating factory. This is Disney we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
The castle, lightning bolts in the background, the whole nine. It's,
Yeah.
So like for Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm, right? These are great stepping stones for directors that are new to the area, or new to the genre, new to whatever, because they come in and they pretty much have the movie for them, right? What they're really learning at Marvel Studios is how to direct the cast and crew, how to engage with people, how to do press junkets, right? They're learning that aspect of it at the forefront of popular film. They're going, across the world, around the world, to promote these films. They're learning the ins and outs of, not because when you direct a film, you don't just direct the film, you represent the film everywhere you go, right? So they're learning all the ins and outs, so that when they're probably very talented, but they need to do the groundwork, and they need to lay the work, so that when they do go work with a studio that will let them take the reins, they're right there. They're a machine at that point.
Yeah.
Right, I know what to do.
But like the only downside is that it doesn't allow for risk. Say what you will about Zack Snyder's films, he took risks with these characters, and that is divisive. I think Disney's like, we'd rather not take any risks and keep it simple. But I think that's what makes his films, like, why do they have so much longevity? Why are so many people attached to him? Because he didn't really. There was a fear that like BVS and Justice League.
That was when JJ shows up.
Yeah, JJ showed up. Yeah, he's going to destroy DC. Destroy your franchises. Yeah, man.
No. So 1 second, guys. So tonight's guest was he basically manages all the. He's a journalist. He does he does HBO Max original social stuff. He pretty much has his hand in the way Twitter, Facebook, all them, that's how they get their shows promoted, and that's how they engage with audiences. So he has his hand in all the HBO Max stuff, Warner Media, and he does all that. I met him through engagement with Doom Patrol. So unfortunately, he had a family emergency. For anyone just tuning in, our guest had a family emergency. We didn't know, so we went live like idiots, or I guess it's on me. I'm an idiot. But so the show is not canceled. It's just going to happen next Saturday on my birthday. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be in March, right? We're talking to HBO Max, Warner Media, Warner Brothers in March, getting ready for the Snyder Cut. It's just, it couldn't happen tonight. So we're here to talk everything else. The Zack Snyder Justice League panel, Pokemon's, what was it?
It's 25th anniversary.
25th anniversary. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what I was about to say, what we were just talking about before you went into
Mark Pellegrino's in a couple weeks.
Weeks. So what I think, if anybody remembers what Drizzle was saying beforehand, I think that's the case for every artist. Every artist has to make a name for themselves before they can do what they want to do. And directors are no exception. If anything, that they're the prime example for that, because you need a foundation, right? And most of us don't have the money to back this art we want to make, or whatever the case may be, movie, music, literal art, whatever it may be. So you need a money flow. So you have to do what they say in order to establish yourself, right? And certain directors, I think Zack has been around long enough that he's established himself. He has a fan base that he should be able to take risks. But some of these other directors aren't at that point. Edgar Wright definitely is at that point. I think Disney made a mistake not letting him make Ant-Man the way he wanted to. Yeah. Everybody likes an Edgar Wright movie. I'm not really sure why they didn't think that was going to work, because I was very excited for that.
I think it's because Edgar Wright is not the type of guy who's going to be like, all right, we got to do another movie in 2 years. Get ready for Ant-Man 2. He would be like, no, I'm going to take my time. And if it takes me 4 years, I'll do Ant-Man 2 in 4 years. Maybe like that type of thing. We're like, all right, get ready for the next one. We're greenlit.
You're getting quality with this, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Andrew had said, so Zack said this film ends on a massive cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And we have to remember, Zack basically wanted to make the film that he was going to make in 2017, right? So just because, and like
more so 2016, the one he was before the reshoots,
right. So I had said this, before, like if I got $70 million from HBO, I would probably fix the ending, and if it was truly going to be a one-off, I would just end the movie. However, that's not the way he's thinking. He's like, I'm literally giving them the movie I was supposed to.
Yeah,
that's it. So if it ends on a cliffhanger and never fulfills, I did the job I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right? So
he's not at fault for that.
He's not at fault.
He's not going to do another version to fit the current DCEU.
Yeah,
right.
But it also leaves the door open for history to repeat itself, and Twitter warriors get to their shields and keyboards and make this second sequel happen, right?
Yeah.
Because now it's not, oh, Joss Whedon's movie sucked, we want Zack Snyder's. It's, oh, Zack Snyder's was great, we loved it, and it ended on a cliffhanger. I want this answered, right?
Yeah.
So that's a smart move.
No, it is. So Zack might be playing dumb, right, when it comes to being asked questions about a sequel, but he knows in his head that he wants to finish, like he said it a million times, I want to finish the hero's journey for Superman. Yeah. What that entails is finishing the arc, right? So the 5-movie arc that Superman was supposed to go through. So he very much, listen, I could sit here and say, I would love to, it's a pipe dream to get picked up by a sponsor. But this sponsor, I would love to work for HBO Max as our podcast be sponsored by HBO Max.
Yeah.
And I could be like, yeah, that would be cool to happen. That would be cool to happen, right? But like if me and HBO Max already talked, I can't really say anything yet, right? It's not official. Yeah. It's the negotiation still happening, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna play dumb and create the hype.
Yeah.
I think the fact that HBO, remember originally when they announced he was going to do the Snyder Cut, they were going to give him 30 million.
Come here.
Then a couple of weeks go by, and all of a sudden it jumps to 70 million. Now he's going to film new scenes. I feel like HBO Max, we talked about this months ago, is making an investment that they're hoping to get a return on. They let him film the new scenes. They let him they had to pay Jared Leto. They got to pay him for whatever few days of work he did.
You think he's cheap?
Yeah.
Oh! I just watched that movie, The Little Things.
Yeah.
With
Denzel.
With Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. Yo, it was great.
Yeah, anything with
Denzel was great. Yeah. But Jared Leto channeled the Joker in that movie.
Really?
I know he did, because he was creepy.
Yeah.
Very creepy.
Speaking of which, Zack flat out said that he did not consult David Ayer on this Joker. He said, I did what I thought this Joker would be like in the post-apocalyptic setting, the nightmare world, which might explain the tattoos. I think they just were like, no tattoos. We're just not going to do the tattoos. They're probably not even going to explain it.
Yeah, not even going to address it. I wouldn't. You shouldn't address it.
It might have been henna. You guys know what henna is? It's not, it's like that, henna is like the temporary tattoos. Maybe that's what the Joker does.
Yeah,
he wears
every
off.
morning he's like, yeah, this one looks good. Damaged.
Yeah.
Slaps that motherfucker right on his head.
Yeah.
And that Gambit movie, I wonder if that's ever going to happen with Channing Tatum.
No, it's not. Who said that?
raging.
No,
But they
he's-
actually wanted to see the Gambit movie when
Yeah,
it was in
so
the works.
yeah, a lot of us did, but gave up on that like 4 years ago. No,
Yeah.
it's not happening.
Like there was some
Movie
good
was
fan
never-
art of him as Gambit. But
Yeah.
Channing, honestly, like, I haven't even seen Channing in a movie in a good minute.
Yeah, he hasn't.
No, I have
Channing Tatum kind of looks like
good actor.
Jeff Johns. Have you ever seen them side to side, like facially?
I don't think so.
I have not. No.
I don't think so. Channing Tatum's gorgeous.
No, he is,
not
but like
like-
they have similar features.
don't
They
know.
look kind of similar.
But I don't know if you guys noticed, but it seems like IGN didn't do any of their homework because there was a Jeff Johns comic book in the background.
No.
I don't know if anyone else noticed that.
I
A Jeff
Yeah.
Johns story comic book was in the background, right? They're
Yeah.
asking questions about Batfleck killing, having a good body count. They're
Yeah,
asking
Sorry,
questions
body count.
that he's already answered 100 different times. And I can't remember what question it was, but she asked a question that wasn't even relevant. It didn't even pertain to something.
yeah.
It was like, oh no. Like,
Well,
you just ended it there. It was like, oh no.
The killing question.
Move on.
I think what that kid was saying was, what he was asking was, did this Batman have a no kill rule? Because that's what we've talked about. That Affleck at some point, Batfleck, maybe lost his mind or kind of broke down, and is asking, was there a point where he was like the traditional Batman and then he lost it? And then Zack kind of addressed that, like, Batman has found his path type of thing, stuff that we already knew. And again, this was meant for IGN's audience, not for us. This was meant for
Right.
people who are now interested in the Snyder Cut.
Mhm.
Even our friends Andy Signor and Jody, the videos about Snyder or Ray Fisher tend to get more views.
Yeah.
So IGN's like, hey, let's jump on this money wagon and let's get some ad revenue.
Yeah.
So this is meant for the people who don't know what the Justice League is.
And Zack's smart, right? He's gonna
Yeah.
do it because he wants general audiences to.
That's a good
HBO
question.
Max isn't helping out right now.
Yeah,
But there's this question that I brought Barcelona B.
Yeah,
But-
no.
So do you think HBO Max is going to crash on the 18th? I 100% do. There's a thing right now on Twitter that is hashtag crash the servers. So Disney Plus at 2:30 in the morning for WandaVision episodes crashed.
yeah.
If
I can
it's-
imagine Zack Snyder's Justice
look,
League on
if
March
it's
18th.
that easy to crash something, then yeah, I believe it. But if give me a number. Give me a number.
I don't.
View it. Just guess. If
I'd
you had
probably-
to guess a number viewing at once to make that
probably like
crash.
2 or 3 million.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
yeah. If that's the number, or at least
I think it's gonna be more than that.
see it happening.
Yeah.
But
So,
if we're
And
talking
The only thing I would say is
absolutely not.
that HBO has actually been in the streaming game. Like HBO Max is new,
Yeah.
but they've been doing HBO Now and Go for a while. So they're Disney had not been in the streaming
Right.
business.
True.
So it's not like they're new to this. Remember, HBO changed television with their programming.
True.
They're ready for this. I think. I hope.
hey Russia.
I think
but
Rasha Taylor, welcome.
I think the Snyder Cut, they're not like I don't think they're fully prepared for how many people are going to access it that first
Maybe.
day. Um,
Honestly, it might be great if it does crash, because if it crashes, that's more headlines.
yeah,
Could
that's
you
awesome.
imagine, like,
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Just because I can't watch it for an extra 3 minutes while they figure it out, it
Yeah.
would suck if like a day went by, but it's never happened before.
Yeah.
That usually the server crashes, they reboot it, yada yada yada, get it back up, right? But listen, if it takes that, crash it, give me a headline to talk about as
Yeah.
well. Hey, remember, by the way, it's such a bad thing to say, but it's a good thing.
Mm.
If the server crashes, it's a good thing.
Yeah, because
Um,
it shows how dedicated the fan base is.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a handful of people watching HBO Max. They're going to have traffic like they've never seen before.
So I guess the answer to that question, anyway, for me, anyways, is first of all, how much does it take to make something crash? If the numbers are anything, Disney crashed with WandaVision. So if that's the case, then absolutely, it's going to crash with Justice League.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also, I think
I think it's fair to assume
with
they'll-
WandaVision, like the first
WandaVision.
2 weeks of WandaVision, I think I watched the episodes like a few days later.
Yeah.
Only recently I've been watching them Friday morning. With the Snyder Cut, people are going to watch it that very second. They're not like, I'll watch this later today or tomorrow. Maybe this
Yeah.
weekend. They're going to people are taking days off from work.
Barcelona's hitting us with those good questions tonight, baby.
Yeah, I know. She's awesome.
So, and she didn't form this one as a question. However, I'm going to reform it for her as a question. So Wonder Woman got her third movie announced within 48 hours of Wonder Woman, which was arguably a bad movie. Arguably a bad movie, announced within 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think it will take for Zack Snyder Justice League to have a decision made, or at least them to let us know that a decision's in the works?
I would say a little bit longer, just because it seems like they're not having it right now. Like with Wonder Woman, they probably already had like a deal ready. Like if this is successful, we have a script or a premise ready that they've already all agreed to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they green light. With this one, they're probably gonna have to sit down with Zack. Can you get Ben back? They're probably gonna argue about Ray Fisher. Can you get Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, who are now doing other movies?
Yeah.
So I feel like it could be a week or two. Or
so that was the point I was making. I was trying to make. I don't remember when, but we were having a similar conversation. Surprise, surprise. And I had said that Warner Brothers, in order to bring back Zack, and I don't think the format as to like whether it's theatrical or strictly on HBO Max, it's going to cause way too much work for them to make it happen. And the numbers aren't there to make these people change their mind. I'm sorry. If 2 to 3 million viewing the first day, it's not enough.
Just made up a number. I don't know.
It's just an example number. It's not.
And mind you, they're going to be
talking about are a lot bigger than that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's not going to happen.
But remember, HBO Max is in North America, some parts of Europe, and the rest they have HBO Go, which I think have different servers. And then places where HBO doesn't exist, they're doing like rental services. Like I think people are going to be able to watch it on Google Play or whatever. So there's a lot of numbers they have to get.
Yeah.
They have to kind of figure out. So this is going to be generating a lot of revenue because for HBO Max, it's just subscriptions. But on other places where people are going to rent it, how many people are going to rent it?
I think the main problem lies in Momoa and because they're the common denominator. They're not going anywhere on this end of things. If they do split it, like you've been talking about, they put Snyder on HBO and keep the theatrical the way it's been going.
Oh, okay.
Gal and Momoa stay on both ends.
Yeah.
Work.
And the Flash.
Oh, and the Flash as well.
Yeah,
so you got 3 big problems on your hands. Two of them are worth $1 billion.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities to say, right, so if you treat, well, I guess it's different, but I was going to say, because if you look at Disney Plus and then you look at the MCU proper, right, we'll call the MCU proper the films, and then Disney Plus shows, the Disney Plus shows. If they're going to be intertwining, going back and forth, right, would it be crazy to think that Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Flash could stay in the movies, but also cross into a HBO show for Zack Snyder?
Yeah, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Wouldn't they be in separate universes?
No, I'm not talking about. We're not talking about like.
Wouldn't Snyder's be a separate universe from the theatrical?
I guess this all depends on what happens in the Snyder Cut.
Basically, what they're saying. This is what they're explained it like.
Yeah.
Ready? So at BVS.
Yep.
Zack's goes this way.
Yep.
The DC films go that way.
Okay.
They have their own Justice League. We're going towards Zack's Justice League. So Zack's arc would be over here.
Yep.
And then the DC films went this way.
Meaning multiverse.
Right, but they still they're compiled of the same characters.
I see what you mean, but that would work if I don't think that works if half the cast is different and half the cast is the same.
I'm not saying
if the whole cast was the same and they did that, I think that would work. But the same problem that I was trying to bring up is still there. Gal, Ezra, and Momoa.
I see what you're saying. Like, it's one thing if you have a multiverse with different actors. It's going to be weird if you have a multiverse with the same actors. I think, is that what you're saying? Like, the Snyderverse actors are still the same actors in the DC films.
Yeah.
I think this is what they're going to have to, they might do. We don't know what that cliffhanger is going to be. Is it a cliffhanger that means that Shazam and Birds of Prey and Aquaman could not have happened in Snyder's verse? We don't know. Or they could say, okay, Jack or Zach, this was your idea for Justice League 2. We want you to kind of reconfigure it so that, Shazam could be in it, that Harley Quinn could be in it, so that it could fit the movies we have done. That's a possibility too, Okay, Zach, do Justice League 2, but do it in a way that kind of so it may not be a movie that's set immediately afterwards. It could be a movie that's set 5 years later. But again, we don't know what happens in the Snyder cut. Is there anything that happens that would make it not fit with the current DCU films?
Yeah.
Right, and I think, like I said, I think really the only problem right now is Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
The problem is Warner Brothers not wanting to admit that they messed up. Right?
Yeah.
If they've just been like, all right, hey, that's me. That's on me. That's on me. You know what? Let's fix this for you because we make movies for you so we can make money off of you. Right?
Yeah.
They're not seeing that admitting defeat over this one thing would lead them down a road of profit. But they're trying to take the back road around it and still get to profit. Right? But you don't get to profit without fans like the Snyder Cut fans. Yeah. Right? If you take this, so if you have a pie chart and you were to cut of the DC, right, the fans of DC, and it was a pie chart, and you sliced out the Snyder Cut fans, those aren't just Snyder Cut fans, those are fans of all DC characters.
Yeah.
So you're taking a large chunk and you're making them have salt in their mouth over you, right? So it's going to, and I know that's a stupid analogy, but
but I see what you're saying.
Because they're gonna have to break it down like that at some point. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but somebody has to get cut off. I don't see this. I'm sorry, and I know you guys probably gonna be mad at me, but I don't see this fairy tale land you guys keep referring to where Snyder's on HBO Max and then they have theatrical things going on over here. And then Patterson also has a show on HBO Max and then this one has a show over here and da-da-da. I'm sorry, that's fairy tale. They're going to cut one of that pie chart, that same example. Somebody's going to get cut. I'm not going to say who, but somebody will get cut out of that chart and they're going to take their losses and move forward. They have to. It's not going to, I'm telling you, we were talking about this earlier. DC is way too early in this game to be doing multiverse and all this nonsense. They're going to fail if they keep it up this way, if you ask me anyways. I'm no expert, but this is based on what I see.
Yeah,
you could be right. That's why I think it would be smart for Warner Brothers and them to say, okay, Zach, how about you do Justice League 2, but do it in a way that it could still fit in the greater universe we've created. You don't have to connect it, but don't do anything that ruins it. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe he might do that, or let have Shazam show up. The Shazam family do a cameo, so we know it's the same universe because Superman does show up in Shazam, and technically that is the Henry Cavill Superman.
But that's what Barcelona was saying. Is continuity. She's right. Continuity within DC is like very, very confusing, and I honestly have no clue what it is at this point.
I mean, the very fact that HBO Max has the Ultimate Edition on their no streaming services ever put director's editions up. It never happens. Like there's this is not Avatar. This is the director's cut of Avatar. No, they know that this is going to get a lot of views, and the fact that they've kept it on for so long and it's still like on the front page means that HBO knows that a lot of people are rewatching it. A lot of people I've spoken to have watched it for the first time, the Ultimate Edition at least, on HBO Max. And so HBO Max is looking at this and.
The theatrical cut has very much been abandoned by by DC Snyder Cut fans. They will not recommend the theatrical cut to anybody that's watching it for the first time.
Oh yeah.
So by word of mouth, it became more popular than the theatrical cut because anyone who was a fan of BVS was like, "Oh, by the way, don't watch the theatrical cut. Watch this better version that will actually make sense. Not leave you wondering what the hell you just saw." So
that's the only logical conclusion to that is get rid of the theatrical cut. Yeah,
and for the most part, HBO Max has been smart, right? I've always looked at HBO, right? Now I'm starting to associate HBO with Warner Brothers, which is getting a little tricky for my head.
Yeah,
because I've always associated HBO Max with smart, decently well put together programming.
Yeah.
Good business model.
Yeah.
Right? And that's who I've always seen them as, right?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, The Night of, Westworld, Soprano, like you name it, HBO's been doing it.
But they're still very much that. They are.
Yeah.
The only thing they can't seem to get right is DC. That's it. Everything else they do have on point, and they do still deliver great content.
No. But what I'm saying now is before they would get the DC movies, they never had a hand in making any of it, right? They had a hand in things like Game of Thrones. That was their studio making it.
Yeah.
Now it's getting a little bit murky where now they have a hand in making things, and now they're getting more associated with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
They need original content. And Walter Hamada's not letting them or not giving them the correct avenues to make. Like they could have already had the Green Lantern Corps show in post-production at this point. They could have already had more than just Stargirl worked on. It just seems like they're not getting what they need from DC as a studio to work with, right? So HBO by association is looking bad.
Yeah. There is something interesting that we haven't really talked about, because the DVDs and all that stuff, Blu-rays, that's still Warner Brothers who greenlights that stuff, right?
Yes.
So we're now learning on March 23rd that they might be they're re-releasing Batman vs Superman, and they're fixing the IMAX ratio, I think,
and the color.
So at some point, I don't think that's HBO who gets to decide that. That must be Warner Brothers, right? They must be like. So I'm thinking Grace Randolph tweeted something, and I know a couple of weeks ago that apparently
Well, it was weird.
Apparently, there are people in Warner Brothers who are very happy. Remember, we know who the bad eggs are, but for every bad egg, there's got to be executives. Aren't 3 or 4 people who run things. They have stakeholders, stockholders. They have to answer to and she said that there are people in Warner Brothers who are very happy with how the Snyder Cut is trending, how it's doing analytically. So for every Toby Emmerich and Hamada and all these guys, there are other executives in those boardrooms who don't give a crap about any of this, who just want to make money. They're just like, well, why don't we just keep doing this? So they can be overridden. AT&T seems very hyped about this, a phone company. For the bad actors, there are plenty of other executives in Warner Brothers who are probably seeing this drama. They're going to see how it plays out. And then when they have their next shareholder meeting, they're going to be like, yeah, okay, why don't we just let Zack do his thing? Because he has a dedicated fan base. Also, we're probably going to make tens of millions more dollars by re-releasing BVS on 4K and Blu-ray again. So I think it may not be as dire on the Warner Brothers end. Yes, there are people at the top who are like, no, we don't want this, but there are people that they answer to, in boardrooms and stuff like that. And we're like, who came up with this 2017 film?
So I just want to ask you something, and I feel like this might have just been a throwaway line, but you had just said that they stand to make tens of millions of dollars re-releasing BVS on Blu-ray. No, I'm sorry, no. I don't think the numbers that are coming from this fan base are as high as you guys think they are.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, how much is a 4K? $30, $25? If a million people buy that, that's 25 million right there. That's. So that's why I said 10. I didn't say hundreds of millions. I said tens of millions.
Yeah.
So if 2 million people buy it, that's
he's like
25, 30.
Hold on.
That's a way too big of a number for a movie that
tons
most
of
people
millions.
Yeah, most people still don't like this movie. You understand that, right? Like it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that there's enough of
a lot of money for a movie that's been out for 4 years, and most people still don't like it.
I'm not talking about most people. I'm talking about the Snyder.
Smash that like button.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Jack.
I think it's fair to say that, but 1 million people around the world buy the remastered version. That's automatically $20 million in revenue for a movie that's already made.
Zack's films are very highly revered in most other parts of the world as well.
Yeah. So I have no doubt that it would make money.
But now he's backtracking.
Yeah. We're throwing the whole world into the equation. And
that's what I mean. Yeah.
1 million copies. You think that's going to be enough for a Warner Brothers executive? No. The entire.
No, but I'm just saying. You said tens of millions is too much. I'm just saying if only 1 million buy it, that's money in the bank for a movie that is already made. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is why would they even make that investment? Why don't they say, Zack, no, we're not making another version of this movie to put on DVD because we're not going to make money off it. They must have seen probably from HBO Max, how many people are watching it this summer? How many people are watching it during quarantine? How many people who didn't ever want to watch it are watching it now? And they're like, yeah, you know what? let's take a chance. Let's do what Zach wants. He wants to do another 4K Blu-ray edition. We'll put some new special features on there. Hell, we'll put the same special features on there.
So I think
that's extra money.
I think the idea is, okay, Zach, we'll let you do it. We'll release the Justice League, but we're gonna make you do. And this is a dick move on their part, mind you. We're gonna make you do all of the marketing. We're gonna make you do all the publicity stuff. You go on shows, you do this, you post the trailers, the whole nine. We're gonna make you do all the work. Prove to us that there's numbers in this, and then we'll go from there.
And that's not actually a bad thing to ask, because it is his movie. His name is part of the title. That is kind of unique. So some people will be like, well, what about John Carpenter's Halloween or, Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction? Yep. Those movies alone are not called Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction or John Carpenter. This movie's title is Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's part of the title. Yeah. So if you look up any movie that has a director's name attached to it, when you look it up on IMDb or look for its official name, it's always just the movie. And then they add, a Spike Lee joint, but this movie has his name in the freaking title. So I think he's happy to do it. I think he is fine doing it.
Spike Lee joint?
Spike Lee. You never heard that before?
No.
You never heard of Spike Lee joint? Yeah, that's how he calls it. Yeah.
He calls them a Spike Lee joint?
Yeah.
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 Spike Lee's not like my director, so.
No, Spike Lee was around before I was born.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I mean, what else did we find out? Okay, yeah, so the nightmare scene, not going to be a crazy long scene like we had thought. Some people thought this was going to be a whole chapter of a whole, maybe like a good 40 minutes long. That's not the case. It'll probably, I said this earlier, I'd said probably 20 to 30 minutes. That seems like it's in the realm of possibilities, a 20-minute nightmare sequence.
Maybe split up.
It could potentially be split up. 20 to 30 minutes over a 4-hour movie is relatively short.
Yeah, but then you also have the opening or not the opening sequence, but the whole history lesson, which we know at least is another 15, 20 minutes. So all of a sudden it starts adding up together.
I've seen your house. No, he's not.
But so in that nightmare, we have found out that Deathstroke, because we've only seen the one picture of Deathstroke with the mohawk. And I was kind of wondering where he was in this whole thing, or what's going on, what's his role. So Zack had let it be known that, like we all thought, he's made a deal with Batman, just like maybe the Joker has, to work together towards a common enemy. And I mean, that's going to be fun to see on screen. I don't care what anybody says. The first time we see Deathstroke and Batman, they're working together in a nightmare scenario. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I'm all about it because I don't need to see them fighting because I already know they hate each other.
Yeah.
Right? I already know. What do you think about what we found out about the nightmare sequence?
I'm excited. I also feel that Zack may be holding back when he says he says it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, so maybe he's trying to make us think that there's going to be less of it, but maybe there's going to be more. Because we know he filmed extra stuff in addition to what he had already filmed back in 2016. So I think maybe it may not be as long as we thought, but I don't think it's as short as they're making us think it's going to be.
I remember the question that I was trying to figure out?
Yeah.
I can't remember it. She was so a fan asked the question and was like, and they played this question, by the way. They said, hey, yada, 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 did you reinvent your characters to more fit Wonder Woman 84?
Yeah.
And whatever the other fucking movie was.
Wait.
Say
that again?
Someone was like, oh, did you change your dynamic of characters? Like, did you change Wonder Woman's personality to more fit Wonder Woman 84? He was like, no.
Did Zack do that?
Yeah, he was like, that was the question he got asked by the IGN people. He said, no. My movie was filmed before that.
I was like, that's why I was confused. I was like, how did you even get that impression? I don't understand.
That is the dumbest question to put up.
Yeah.
So maybe we should backtrack. I guess somebody wasn't monitoring these questions, apparently.
Or someone thought that was a good question.
Yeah. If somebody
who was not familiar.
I literally, you can, because it's all on, I'm recorded as watching it, right? I was just like
what? That's why I was confused when you said it, because I don't even understand how that could, how you could come to that conclusion.
Yeah, he just was like this.
Like, what? No.
Yeah, no, because.
But see, that just proves, though, how many how many people don't know what is actually going on with
Yeah.
this movie. People think this movie was made last year. Most people don't realize this movie was made 3 years ago because most people don't care enough to find out. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but most of them don't care enough to figure it out. And it's clearly with dumbass questions like that.
I was baffled. I was like,
how did you come up with that?
I was like,
Look, I can probably say with confidence, without the two of you, I would probably be on that same boat as a not knowing what's going on and not caring enough to find out. You know what I mean?
But it blew my mind that question made it through. And listen, anytime you get to wake up and pour a coffee, hop on the telly and see Zack Snyder doing a panel for Justice League for Zack Snyder Justice League, I'm gonna call that a win.
Yeah. And the fact that this is kind of like a press tour. It was not with the nerd queens or anything. This was with a really big thing. I'm glad that's the type of press they need to do. They need to do kind of like press like they're doing for a normal movie. And right now everything's on Zoom. You can't do actual panels in front of
I do think this is going to be a trend going forward, even when the pandemic's over.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's going to stop the spread of future things, right? Yeah. Doing it all remotely. But guys, that is all that we did go. I thought we were going to get to the Pokemon thong. Oh my god.
Dirty boy.
The Pokemon thing. However, it already is late, and we have a long night ahead of us.
And
still,
I don't live here.
Yeah, and he doesn't live here. He lives across the city. So, guys, that is all the time that we have for you tonight. We're super, 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 super sorry about the miscommunication or the unfortunate postponement, delay, whatever you want to call it.
Join Patreon. I'll let you smack me in the mouth. For that.
Yeah. But next Saturday, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
Well, I asked him. I emailed him at 6 o'clock. Okay, he hasn't replied yet.
All right.
Okay.
I'm assuming it is, but it's not 100% yet.
I won't say it yet then. But join us next Saturday as we bring on the social manager for HBO Max original content on the show, and we're going to talk all things DC film, television, comics, Warner Brothers, HBO, you name it. We'll be speaking about it, and we're going to have a really good time. Till then, we'll be hitting you with quick tips, daily shows, and you name it. I truly thank you for being a viewer.
I love you.
He loves you. Jack loves you. We do it for you.
We do it for the culture, baby.
And the culture.
Holla.
All righty.
Bye-bye.